Lion with game number 1. Once again, the new style beats out the old-fashioned style. The team set in their old ways. So Sunny Lion, let's see if this continues, as Soa are going to be taking us to the Cursed Hollow.
And I love what you just mentioned there, Tetcher. It was a clash of styles indeed. Sunny Lion, you know, they respected Jaina. Nene would be proud right now. And they also embraced the single support playstyle that is currently, you know, chic and in meta. Whereas Soa, they look like an old relic from the past. They look like a 40-year-old boxer coming back to the ring, you know.
They were winning.
Yeah, and it's so good.
It is very, sorry to talk over you there.
No problem.
Like it was a little bit like it's very much like the Muhammad Ali style. It is a big, heavy hitter in the form of Soa, which is why they were winning the early games. It only took a couple hits, but then it was the very quick movements and the very fast engage and well-played fight. A mechanical victory by Sunny Lion at the end.
Definitely true. I couldn't agree more. And now here comes the big question, though, Tetcher. We've seen many fresh teams, many rookie teams, not just in China, but also in Europe. Just think back to Team Synergy, Team Good Guys, who were doing considerably well in the early stages of the season. And they looked good in most games, but they just couldn't keep up the consistency, and they couldn't bring those games home. Now, can Sunny Lion repeat what Timeflow did earlier and take the series 2-0, or are they going to eventually get overwhelmed by the experience and by the adaptability coming in from an experienced team like Soa?
Well, we're about to find out as we see Abatha. Very common ban amongst all the other regions, but that does allow Mr. Hanzo himself to make it into HGC China.
Definitely true. It is the first time we're going to see the Japanese archer Hanzo fly over to China and show us what he's got. And we've seen plenty of...
On his level 20 arrow.
Exactly. By the way, did you see that legendary arrow yesterday? I think it was in the second series between Fnatic and Leftovers, or was it the first one?
I think it was the second.
Yeah, anyway, we saw a map or a game on Dragon Shower, and we saw the level 20 era coming in from all the way from downtown, basically. Definitely one of the biggest poggers / PogChamp moments in the chat. Really excited to see. I mean, many teams have tried to go for different routes on Hanzo. We saw Dragon Strike in Korea.
Yeah, very true.
You know...
It kind of worked one time and then really didn't work another time. But we do see another hero who we talk about so much, but finally has been picked.
Yes.
It's the cow, ETC, coming in with Greymane. Now, that's the kind of pick you'd expect to see in our first rotation last season. You'd see Greymane, ETC, Rhaegar. Those three heroes in some form of rotation.
Yeah, definitely true. Now, what is Hanzo's worst enemy? It is hard engage and stickiness. So normally, a hero like Genji is formidable against his brother. As such, the ban coming in from Sunny Lion makes a lot of sense. However, there's a couple of other heroes that can basically get the job done if played well. Illidan could be one of them, going in with a hunt, chasing our Hanzo down, We could also see a Zeratul potentially, because ever since his rework, he's a lot more mobile and a lot stickier than before.
Very true. Bye-bye, Arthas. Could be a serious issue.
Dude, I'm going for the Illidan here. You're
going for the Illidan from Soa?
Of course, yeah.
I'd be interested to see it. Rip.
God damn it, Sunny Lions. Why do you have to be so good? Why do you have to be so good?
And now, there are other heroes who can fit into that potential melee role. Sonya is actually still up, so she could fit in there pretty comfortably. Ragnaros, we've actually a little bit more popular in China than some of the other regions.
Yeah, Ragnaros, however, is a little bit more, you know, limited towards certain maps, like Tomb of Spider Queen. He's very popular there. Brax's holdout sometimes. But yeah, the Turiel, actually very interesting to see.
Yes.
I mean, Judgment could be one of those playmaking tools potentially against the Hanzo.
We've seen it. It was very effective in the HGC Europe where it came out. Going to be interesting to see if that does it. We are playing, by the way, on the Blaze patch. So this is not new Tyrael, but we've already seen teams, apparently, we've already seen teams prove that old Tyrael still got it.
Yeah, it's such an interesting story about Turiel. I mean, he did receive a very nice rework. I've been enjoying it a lot myself personally. However, even before his rework, he has always been a staple in the professional scene, right? In casual play, a lot of people, you know, in Hero League and Team League, Tyrael just didn't cut it because of the lack of communication and the overall difficulty of his kit. But in HGC, where players are on top of their game, you can make astounding plays happen.
I would like it on the record that I miscast aside, but it's never coming back. As we do see Li Ming and Muradin coming in as the final picks from Sunny Lion. So their burst damage is very high and their crowd control is very high.
Definitely true. And they also have some long distance poke now when it comes to you know, harassing teams that are trying to take tributes. The Li Ming poke from afar, and Hanzo actually topping almost every poker in the game right now. It's going to be really tricky and hard for Soa to take those tributes if they let themselves get poked from a distance over and over again. Now, the last pick is still to be taken. They need a little bit more oomph to their comp. I really wouldn't like them to go for double support again. I think double support hasn't really been performing that well today, Tetcher. Maybe...
I'd agree.
Is Tyrael going to be the soul laner, by the way? I think so.
He can do it. This is pre-mana issue. This is current mana issue, Tyrael.
Yeah.
So if he does, he's going to have to be very efficient with it. If not, once again, as we said earlier, Ragnaros could have fit in, but instead we see the Falstad coming in here. Another hero who has really made a bit of a resurgence recently and fills in that global hole that has been left by the banning of the Illidan.
Yeah, definitely true. You now have another global hero in the mix to take on the Dahaka. And you also have very strong boss and objective control now. With the Tyrael Holy Ground, the Mighty Gust, I don't think it's going to be an easy task for Sunny Lion to go for any bosses when their opponents are nearby. So, in theory, I really like the draft. Also, keep in mind, Tetcher, we saw Uncle G on the Falstad before, and he was actually one of the biggest playmakers I've ever seen in HGC China.
Be curious if it is him playing it, as Uncle G does also fill in the support role for his team. At least last season, he was very much on the support role. So, we'll definitely be curious to see if that is the route they choose to go down. But for now, I feel that the Sunny Lion draft looks a bit more thought out, but the potential, like you mentioned, that boss control and very solid teamfight potential in general looks really good from Soa.
I think so too. Now, oftentimes, if you go for those boss control heroes like a Falstad or a Tyrael, you miss out on other aspects. Right now, I would actually rate the wave clear very, very limited on the side of Soa. Whether that's going to be a problem or not remains to be seen, but I think it all comes down for them to survive the early game. If you fall behind with a Tyrael comp, it's sometimes going to be really, really rough to come back into the game, especially when you have so much poke and damage available on the side of Team Sunny Lion. However, we're going to get ready for game number 2 between Sunny Lion, the rookies in the league, and Soa, who are currently behind 0-1.
And spawning on the left-hand side in the blue trunks, currently 1-0 up. It's the newcomers, Sunny Lion. And playing for Sunny Lion, we have Pao on Uther, Jaina on Li Ming, Phoebe D on the Hanzo, C on Muradin, and Yusta is playing on the Dahaka.
Yeah, very cool to see how Jaina transitions over from one mage to the other. No longer on the Jaina, but on the Li Ming now. Now, their opponents in red is going to be Soa with Fei on the Tyrael, Uncle G on the Lucio, TY on the Greymane, Klong on that Cow ETC, and Molly is going to hop on the Falstad. After all, I think this is one of the few times I can remember him not on the Vala, and results were mixed, Tetra. I think Molly needed a little bit of time last phase to really get comfortable on heroes that weren't Vala, but when he got comfortable, when he got into his comfort zone, he looked like one of the best assassins in the league.
Indeed, his Greymane sort of fit in sometimes, but we will see. Hanzo going for a deflecting arrow talent at level 1.
Yeah, he's going for the W build, it seems like. Now, this is a talent we usually don't get to see that often in other regions. I think the auto attack build is usually the go-to. Sometimes we see a Q build in the mix every now and then, especially Nuruk like to go for it from Team Liquid. But it remains to be seen how much value they will get from the additional wave clear and boss mercenary control provided by those W talents.
Indeed. No redemption, which, like you said, is usually the go-to level 1 talent. The simple geometry is the talent that he did go for here, which I believe it was nerfed, but either way, Redemption just seems to be a little bit more popular anyway these days.
Exactly, and it needs a little while until the simple geometry becomes a thing, you know? You need to hit a lot of heroes with it, and then you get, once you complete it, you get 2 additional arrows that will scatter. And that is very nice, of course, with the follow-up talents on the W, which provide more damage against PvE targets and a lower cooldown that you can get at level 7.
Indeed, it does. Now, I actually want to look at Tyrael here for a second to see. I think this might be new Tyrael.
Wait a minute, you
Because
could
he
be
attacked
right.
and he stayed the direction he was looking. I might be wrong. That might just be what it was displayed as. But either way, his level 1 talent, Justice for All, I can't remember if that was on his old kit.
No, that is a new talent.
So,
Ladies
yeah,
and gentlemen.
Uncle G is dead again, becoming First Blood. And once again, very similar circumstances. On a support, getting punished by a high CC warrior.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, get your poggers out, because we're going to see the new Tyrael after all.
Probably.
Looks like... No, it is the new Tyrael.
Yeah, bound by law. Yep, that looks like a Tyrael build.
Because I've been playing a lot of Tyrael ever since the rework came out, so Justice for All increases the shield value on all allies around Tyrael, so no longer will he be the one that gets the best shield, everybody gets the same amount, which is pretty hefty AoE protection, and level 4 is going to be the slow after his Q.
Bound by law.
Bound by law. So you slow somebody with your Eldrin's Might, and the slow amount is going to be increased to 30%, and every basic attack up to 4 seconds will maintain the 30-second slow on the target, which can be huge.
Exactly. It's going to be it's going to be great if you can do so, and really kind of leans towards that potential judgment play we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Being able to move into that backline. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that and see if that's the style we go for. There is the potential, I believe chat mentioned it earlier, of the old-fashioned Judgment Hinterland combo. If they really if they hate Hanzo that much, that is a potential thing they could do. But Divine Shield is available, so it would be risky.
Isn't that what MVP Miracle was able to successfully execute against KSV Black?
I believe so. Was it Miracle or was it Tempest?
It was Tempest, excuse me. It was Tempest.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah, I believe so. So it's potential. But the fact is, if they did, I don't think it would have to be on Hanzo. I think it would have to be Uther, because Divine Shield, Cleanse, that could be rough. Either way, good start by HGC, on to C, trying to finish him off, but Dwarf tossing into the sunset.
Yeah, also we could see an Orb Li Ming build here, going for maximum poke with the W, with the Arcane Orb. Or maybe you just want to have the cooldown reduction anyways as a solid build-up talent.
Triumvate is a very solid talent in general. Still gives you a lot of poke, especially if you are going to be long-range poking onto Tributes, which is fairly common on this map, obviously. It's less safe than Dominance, which is the go-to. She could have, considering her level. Oh, but finished off by Lucio, #1 player killer hero.
Oh my god, those cheeky little auto attacks coming in over the wall. Only Lucio could have pulled it off, I'm pretty sure. No other hero would have had the guts to go for it. No, it's fantastic play by Uncle G. Fantastic stuff coming in indeed. And once again, guys, we were not aware of the new Tyrael being allowed here. China seems to be the only region who plays on the current patch, of course, without Blaze being enabled. So this is going to be very exciting for us. We now have a level 7 talent available for Tyrael.
Purge Evil or Swift Retribution.
It is Swift Retribution, and that talent is so useful. It's so good.
It's fast.
Exactly. It makes everyone faster, and it also increases the attack speed of everyone standing in the smite. And if you have somebody like Rayman or Falset in the smite, you can deal a lot of auto attack damage.
Now, here's the fun part. Sunny Lion are already done with their boss, thanks to that Hanzo. And now they're gonna try and raid. Muradin on the point. Yustia holding it down. No heroics. Hanzo so far away. The greedy play by Sunny Lion results in disaster, as Phoebe D being forced to back away. On the bright side, I'm pretty sure Hanzo just completed his quest.
Pretty sure that he did, and only in China will you see those crazy, balls banana crazy plays coming in from teams who are not backing down. It's almost like a staring contest. Who's willing to leave the objective earlier and sooner? And it looks like Sunnyline thought they could buy enough time for Hanzo and the rest of the team to arrive. However, Murden had to back out, Dehaka had to tunnel and eventually die, unfortunately. So it was very close. If they had been able to stall out like 5 more seconds, they could have actually fought with their full roster. But as it is, so with a big swing in momentum.
And they do go with the safe style. Sanctification and Mighty Gust not going for that judgment. But once again, Sag and Sound Barrier, such a long duration of protection. Now, only one talent was being held. It is going to be a stage dive ETC because they want Jada. They take her out. Although, potential trouble. Nice fate well to try and give Klong a chance to flee, and he will be able to.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't really commit too much on team fighting right now if you're Sunnyline, because guess what? The curse is working against you. You're already starting to lose structures in the bottom lane because you tried to get a gank going in the top lane. So the experience is now going to heavily favor Team Soa. And as you mentioned, Tetcher, the patient, the defensive style coming in with Mighty Gust and Sanctification, it's going to be so good when it comes to controlling team fights and especially choke points on Cursed Hollow, which there are plenty of in this battleground.
Surprise feed B. He gets the stun arrow at point blank, but it's such a short duration because of how surrounded he was, how close the arrow was. And as such, Soa pick up yet another kill on Hanzo, and they're going to be able to steal the mercenary cap.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Feed B was thinking there, to be honest. Like, Hanzo's a good hero, but he cannot do a 1v4 yet. Maybe next patch.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that might be what he's thinking. He thought he was in Overwatch. As we do see Soa clearing out that middle fort and able to continue their slight lead in this particular map. Now, once again, they were a little bit ahead in the last map as well, and it did come down to those ending fights. But Soa, so much control. They've been able to punish Jada on that Li Ming repeatedly in this series.
Exactly. Now, 13 is around the corner. Turiel has a couple of sexy options here. He has the Holy Ground at 13 now, which is one of the key factors of the rework. They reduced the duration of his Holy Ground by 1 second, now 3 instead of 4. However, you gain access to it earlier. And guess what? Holy Ground is good for you, especially if your team plays on Cursed Hollow with plenty of mercenary and boss camps available.
As we see Klong living in the top lane. He's gone for a full face melt build in general, so not going for that echo pedal wave clear style. This is still good. Power slide into a face melt is very effective at clearing lanes anyway. As we do see level 13 hit for Soa. We do, like you said, see that Holy Ground, and I believe that's hard style. Is that the name of the talent for Lucio?
Excuse me? No, it is back in the mix, I think.
Back in the mix, that's the one.
There
the
we go.
extra little boost to healing when you get CC'd, which against a Hanzo who could stun you from such long range, or Muradin as the engaged target, could be a very solid choice here, especially seeing as Uncle G has been kind of the target.
Now, keep in mind how much protection there is available for Team Soa. The level 1 talent by Turiel, Justice for All, provides so much shielding. Then you have even more shielding on top of that with the Sound Barrier. Lucio himself, okay, never mind. ETC got caught out in a dark alley here. He's isolated and taken out very handsomely. He tried to use the stage dive to get out of harm's way, but the tongue was there in time. The tongue was faster.
The isolation, actually.
The isolation, excuse me.
Yeah, kept him silent so he could not activate it. However, he will be back about the same time as this tribute spawns, and with stage dive, he can just join his team here. So he could try and make his team could try and make the play. Soa are in position to at least delay this if they want to.
No, definitely true. Soa still has all the cards they need to initiate a team fight on with. Now, Holy Ground, we're going to see it come in here. C is a little bit caught off guard. ETC.
The cleanse is really good, keeping him alive. There's the sack. That's going to force this fight to an attempted disengage.
Murden, no way.
Murden gets de-shielded. Beautiful move, clutch play there by Pow.
And Pow says now, this Murden is not going to fall anytime soon. That last second Divine Shield saved the Dwarf because that auto attack by Falstad would have gone through, would have been a kill. Uncle G now in trouble, baited a lot of attention onto himself. He survives, Sound Barrier is good, and Soa is marching through Tetcher.
So much damage output. Tyrael did get stunned there, which is a really clutch move because C would have been blocked in by the Holy Ground. They get the kill anyway, though. And Soa pick up another tribute, moving their way towards another curse.
All right, and guess what? 3 people still on the bench here for Sunny Lion. They're not going to be able to defend or even contest this boss anytime soon, especially not with Tyrael having Holy Ground available now. Like, the level 13 Holy Ground is so nuts on Cursed Hollow. I think Fei made the perfect call when it comes to, you know, going for the right here. In fact, the Sanctification marked the turning point in the last team fight, didn't it?
It really did. That was very solid. They were already looking good, but the second that Sanct came down, they looked amazing. They had so much control here. And even though we saw some amazing plays with power on that Divine Shield, it was still another heroic use in the fight. Root doesn't land it, but C still goes down. Damage output's too good. Stage dive for good measure. They're not done. The speed boost coming in from the Tyrael and the Lucio here. They're moving through the keep and moving on to the core.
This is the worst time possible for Sunny Lion to sacrifice heroes here for the defense. Look at that Sanctification for the good looks. Style points achieved. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough, though. The boss is still over 50% health. Tetcher Soa is going to take game number 2, making it the first tie of the day.
That is going to be 1 point for both of these teams here. Still a very solid showing by Sunny Lion in both series, but overall, Soa, they were ahead in the first game. They unfortunately lost it due to one bad team fight. This game, though, was theirs pretty much from